Good morning, everyone. So, Virgo, two things. Yes, two, not one. Two, arriving in tandem, in close proximity, connected somehow in ways you won't see until after both land, and you look back and realize the timing wasn't coincidence, but convergence. Large sum of money and attention from someone who was ignoring you. Two completely different categories, two completely different sources, two completely different forms of receiving, but both significant, both addressing lack, both filling void that's been there, both arriving now when you've stopped desperately waiting for either and resigned yourself to functioning without them. And that convergence, that double arrival, isn't accident, isn't random, is pattern, is what happens when energy shifts in your life. When one door opens, it often reveals doors behind it. When one flow begins, it creates momentum that opens other flows. Here's what large sum of money actually means. Large is relative to your current state, isn't billions, isn't necessarily millions, is amount that's significant relative to what you currently have, what you currently earn, what you're currently managing. Could be thousands, could be tens of thousands, could be hundreds of thousands, depending on your baseline and your needs and what large means in context of your life. But large means it changes things, changes stress level, changes what's possible, changes decisions you can make, changes timeline for goals, changes capacity to breathe. Not extra $100, not nice bonus, substantial amount that makes you check if there's error, amount that makes you verify it's real, amount that makes you pause and recalibrate what's possible. Some arriving through channel you've been building toward, or through unexpected channel, through work paying off, through investment maturing, through inheritance, through settlement, through sale, through contract, through opportunity you pursued or opportunity that pursued you. Either way, arriving, not just possibility, not just potential, actual delivery. Money moving from theoretical to accessible, from might happen to is happening, and arriving soon. Not years from now, weeks maybe, days possibly. Timeline that's close enough to be relevant, close enough that you can prepare, close enough that anticipation is warranted, not premature. What a lot of attention from someone who was ignoring you reveals someone, specific person, not general attention from random sources, not vague people will notice you, specific person whose attention you've been wanting, whose absence you've been feeling, whose ignoring has been hurting, even if you've been pretending it doesn't. Could be romantic interest, person you wanted who seemed unavailable or uninterested or focused elsewhere, who didn't text back, who was always too busy, who made you feel optional or invisible or forgettable. Now they're paying attention, not casual attention, a lot of attention, pursuing, initiating, making time, making effort, demonstrating interest they weren't demonstrating before. Could be person you care about who's been distant, friend who pulled away, family member who was cold, someone who matters, whose withdrawal created wound, even if wound was silent. Now they're engaging, reaching out, showing up, demonstrating care they weren't, demonstrating when you needed it most. Could be professional contact, boss, client, mentor, investor, person whose recognition or attention or approval could advance your career or purpose. They've been ignoring your work, your emails, your existence, making you feel invisible in professional context. Now they're noticing, responding, acknowledging, demonstrating interest in you, in your work, in your potential. And was ignoring means past tense, means shift from absence to presence, from cold to warm, from dismissive to engaged, from making you feel invisible to making you feel seen. That shift isn't because you begged, isn't because you changed yourself to meet their standards, isn't because you performed or proved or earned through degradation. Shift is because something changed in them or in circumstances, because they finally see what was always there, because timing aligned, because whatever was blocking their attention dissolved. Why both are arriving together, the connection between money and attention. Because your energy is shifting. When you shift internally, when you stop desperately needing, when you build life that functions without specific thing, when you find peace with absence, you become magnetic differently. That shift creates opening, creates availability for receiving, creates conditions where multiple things that were blocked can suddenly flow. Money flows when you're not strangling need for it. Attention flows when you're not desperately seeking it. Both flow when you're functioning without them, not when you're dying for them. Because you've reached threshold. Threshold isn't arbitrary, is point where accumulated effort, accumulated growth, accumulated positioning reaches critical mass. And when threshold is reached, when you've done enough work, enough healing, enough building results arrive, often multiple results, often in short time frame, often creating sense of suddenly everything is happening. Not actually sudden, just visible. Results of invisible building finally manifesting in visible ways. Because money arriving creates confidence, creates different energy, creates shift in how you carry yourself. And that shift, that confidence, that relaxation, that new energy is what makes you visible to person who is ignoring. Or attention arriving first creates openness, creates joy, creates expansion, and that expansion is what creates conditions for money to flow, creates opportunities, creates connections, creates positioning. Either order money, then attention, or attention, then money, creates positive feedback loop. Each arrival makes other arrival more likely, creates momentum. This reflection invites you to consider, what would large sum of money change about your life practically? What stress would dissolve? What doors would open? What decisions would become possible? What timeline would accelerate? What would you do that you can't do now? Clarity about what money would change helps you recognize opportunity when it presents, helps you say yes quickly, helps you deploy wisely instead of wasting through overwhelm. This reflection invites you to consider, Whose attention have you been wanting that you've been pretending you don't want? Who's been ignoring you? Whose absence has been hurting? Who have you been checking for their texts, their calls, their presence while telling yourself you're over it? Honesty about whose attention you want helps you recognize when it arrives, helps you decide if you actually want it now that it's available or if wanting was just habit. What you should do knowing both are arriving. Prepare for money practically. Clear debt plan if you have debt. Create savings plan. Research investment options if amount is large. Identify goals money could fund. Consult financial advisor if needed. Preparation isn't forcing, is creating conditions for wise stewardship when money arrives, is preventing waste through panic or overwhelm. And preparation signals readiness, signals you're serious, signals you can handle receiving. That signaling sometimes accelerates arrival because you're demonstrating capacity. Decide how you'll respond to attention when it arrives. Will you engage? Will you be cautious? Will you decline because too much time passed? Will you verify their interest is genuine before investing? Deciding in advance, not with rigid plan, but with general direction, prevents being caught off guard, prevents reacting from desperation or old wounds instead of responding from clarity. Don't sabotage before arrival. Don't create crisis that blocks money. Don't push away person whose attention is shifting before you see if shift is real. Your system might want to sabotage, might want to create familiar chaos to avoid unfamiliar good, might want to reject before being potentially rejected. Notice that impulse, breathe through it, don't act on it. Manage expectations about what money and attention will solve. Money solves financial problems, creates breathing room, opens doors, but doesn't solve relationship problems, health problems, internal problems unrelated to money. Attention from person fills one need: validation, connection, recognition, but doesn't solve all needs, doesn't complete you, doesn't fix what's broken if what's broken is internal. Both are valuable, both are significant, but neither is magic that solves everything. Temper excitement with realistic understanding of what each actually provides. And stay present. Don't get so focused on anticipating arrival that you miss actual life happening now. Don't stop living while waiting for money and attention. Keep functioning, keep building, keep engaging, so that when both arrive, you're in position to receive them fully rather than collapsed in desperation. What happens when both arrive, the sequence and response? If money arrives first, receive it without immediately telling everyone. Sit with it. Let it be real before it's public. Make initial decisions about deployment. Verify it's actually accessible, not just promised. Then notice shift in your energy. Notice confidence. Notice relaxation. Notice how differently you move through world when financial stress reduces. That shift is what makes you more visible, more magnetic, more attractive, not physically necessarily, but energetically. That's what creates conditions for attention to follow. If attention arrives first, receive it cautiously, not cynically, cautiously. Verify it's real, not temporary. Verify it's consistent, not just burst. Verify person has actually changed or circumstances have changed, not just moment of interest. Ask questions if it's romantic. What changed? Why now? If it's professional, understand what they want. If it's personal relationship, understand what shifted. Then notice how being seen changes you, how being acknowledged creates energy, how attention creates openness. That openness is what creates conditions for money to flow. If both arrive simultaneously, prioritize practical first. Money requires immediate practical decisions. Attention can be received emotionally while money is being deployed practically. Don't let romantic or personal attention distract you from making wise financial choices. Don't let financial windfall make you careless about evaluating person's genuine interest. Both deserve attention, both deserve wise response. Sequence them, handle each appropriately. And regardless of order, express gratitude for money arriving, for attention arriving, for both arriving together. Gratitude reinforces, creates openness for more, creates positive relationship with receiving. What to watch for potential complications. Person whose attention arrives might be responding to money arriving, might suddenly be interested because you have resources, might be opportunistic, not genuinely interested. Verify their attention is about you, not about what you can provide. Verify timeline. Did attention shift before money arrived or after? Before suggests genuine, after suggests suspicious. Money arriving might create pressure from person giving attention, might create expectations, might create sense that you owe them something because money improved your situation. You don't OWE. Money is yours regardless of who's paying attention. Attention doesn't create DEBT, doesn't obligate spending on them or sharing with them or proving yourself. Both arriving might create overwhelm, might create sense you can't handle both, might create anxiety about which to prioritize. You can handle both. You're more capable than you believe. Overwhelm is normal response to significant change. Doesn't mean you're failing, just means adjusting. Both arriving might attract wrong attention from wrong people. People who want your money, people who want access, people who suddenly notice you when you were invisible before. Protect yourself. Be selective. Don't let sudden visibility make you careless about who you let close. The power is yours. It always has been. Large sum of money and a lot of attention from someone who was ignoring you are both arriving. And when they land, whether simultaneously or sequentially, your job is preparing practically for money, deciding in advance how you'll respond to attention, managing expectations about what each solves, receiving cautiously but not cynically. Verifying person's interest is genuine, protecting yourself from opportunists, and recognizing that both arriving together is momentum, creating more momentum. Take what resonates, softly release the rest, trust yourself. And listen, you've been functioning without both, without money you wanted, without attention you needed, surviving lack, building life that works, even though it's been hard. That functioning prepared you, that survival built capacity, that independence created conditions where both can now arrive. So when they do arrive, when money lands and attention shifts, don't collapse into relief. So complete, you lose discernment. Receive with wisdom, with gratitude, with recognition that you created conditions for both through your persistence. You've earned this, both of this, not through suffering that's toxic narrative, through continuing, through building, through becoming person who can handle receiving. Money is coming, attention is shifting. Be ready, be wise, be grateful. Take care.